Hey, Real Nerds listeners, your favorite host Ryan here to remind you that social media is great. How great is it? There's many ways you can find the Real Nerds on social media. You can download us on iTunes. You can listen to us streaming on Stitcher Radio. You can call us 720-6nerds5. Aw man, our website is so cool. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You want to leave some fan mail? Oh, that's so easy, realnerds@gmail.com. Twitter, we got it, @real_nerds. You can even like us on Facebook. Thank you so much, and hey, enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten from The Perfect House and Sleepaway Camp, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic-Con. I am Ryan. With me is fellow movie nerd and great friend.
Aw, James.
Brad is still knee-deep in production of Jean-Claude Van Damme's Damn Van.
Yeah.
So he skipped this week again. But I was reading on his post, he said he only has 3 more days left, which is good for him. It's funny. Just seeing how hard he's been working on it and that it's almost done. That's good for him.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of shit done on that thing.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I asked him about the post in it, and he said the post actually isn't too bad.
Cool.
So, of course, I say that now, and then he's going to run into some problems. And sorry, Brad. If you're wondering why you're listening to us, hopefully you already know that every week we go see a new movie, and we podcast our experience to the world. This week we went and saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And stay tuned.
Wow, good job.
Thanks.
You got through it on the first try.
I know. Usually I always make it a point to really space them out because I think while I think the title is cool, Planet of the Apes, I think the beginning of them are really clunky.
Yeah, they're getting real long.
Yeah, but it still sounds really cool. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to save that to the end where we spoil the crap out of the movie.
It would be even worse if they did like a colon name where it was like Rise of the Planet of the Apes 2, Dawn of a New World.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't do that. I'm going to guess what the name of the next one is. And 20th Century Fox, if you don't have a name yet, you can take this from me. All I ask is for a free movie ticket.
Okay.
War of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I like it. That's pretty good.
So stay tuned for the review. We also do the trailer, and we'll also put in a little scene from the movie. Because we're real media, James. We have access to scenes to movies.
We do.
I really should start putting them up on our website so people can see. I really want to do that, but I couldn't figure it out how to download it from the website.
Yeah.
20th Century Fox, and then save it, and then put it on our website. I don't know how to do that.
It's not that hard.
But I couldn't figure out how to.
I can try.
Yeah, you should.
I should.
Because I want to start doing This Week on Real Nerds and then show everybody what we're seeing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Promote it. But anyways, we do a lot of things here. We do comic books. We also talk about movies we've been watching, movie news. What was the number one movie at the box office? Also, we're kind of having fun. We're going to talk about history of the box office. And we're going to talk about movies that have come out in the past during this weekend and if they meant anything to us at all. And so we just have a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy it, too. What is really cool, though, is Brad shared with me on our Stitcher listening station, we have tripled our listening audience. So thank you, everybody who has added us to their subscription or station or whatever they call it on Stitcher.
Yeah, all 3 of them. Because there's only one. Before
You're taking Brad's role this week?
I'm sorry.
Just shit on everything we do?
It was low-hanging fruit,
Hey, you know
man.
what? I shook Kevin Conroy's hand.
Dude, you did. Oh, that was cool. Dude, I rode an elevator with Edward James Olmos.
Right?
Oh, it was so cool.
And Kevin Conroy asked me if he sounded okay. Me.
Yeah.
That was great.
Edward James Olmos said, "It's too bad she won't live." But then again, who does? It was cool.
Blade Runner.
Yep.
So, yeah. I don't know. What do you want to start with this week, James? I'll give you the control.
Let's do the little stuff. Let's do, the
Actually,
stats.
I'm going to say something real fast. Sorry.
Okay.
I just remembered. We were drawn in a comic book this week.
Oh, yeah, my God. Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah. Josh, who draws Trash Man, is a local comic book artist.
Yeah.
And he had his hero at a wrestling match. And we were part of the crowd, all 3 of us.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So,
we got, the shirts in there and everything. It was dope.
So we were drawn in an actual comic book. I think.
Yeah. that you can buy in a store.
You
Because
can
you can
buy
go
in
to
a
Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, and he's got it
Yeah.
for sale there. Well,
Not yet.
issue 4 is not out yet,
Not
but
yet,
when it is.
but it will be.
Yeah.
So I'll have to pick up that issue and have Josh autograph it for us.
Yeah,
and,
that's too cool, man. Thank you, Josh.
It's one of those things where you say, oh, wow, I'm drawn in a comic book. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this year alone, I've given George's Jonty a Blu-ray copy of our show that he wanted, and I've been drawn in a comic book. I've met Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
I've also met Boba Fett, Jeremy Bullock.
Yeah.
I've sat
Been a
down
good
and
one.
interviewed a lot of people.
Yeah, it's been a really good one.
I'm about to have a baby. My wife is.
Well, yeah, now you're getting to the actual important stuff.
Yeah, so it's been a fun week. Your brother's getting married.
My brother's getting married.
What
2 weeks.
what a fun year.
I know. Totally.
So, drawn in a comic book. Check that off the bucket list.
Seriously. It really is
Yeah,
one. Like,
yeah,
that's
right?
really cool. Man, too much.
That's awesome. So, I guess we'll start the show. I'm sorry, James, what did you want to start with? I just want to give a shout out. And pick up Trash Man at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Yeah, do it. Let's do the stats. Movie
Cool.
stats.
This is the box office stats.
It's Transformers again.
Yeah.
46 million? Is that right?
Actually, 37. for last
37.
week, yeah.
Oh, that's right. It dropped 64%.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that surprising.
But
What is surprising is how shitty those movies are and how many people still see them.
yeah.
That blows
Well,
my mind.
I mean, I understand them.
No, they're shitty movies, James.
What-
Quit
well, if we're-
defending these fucking movies.
If we're going to talk about shitty movies, well, I guess none of us saw Tammy, but Tammy still did well.
Yeah,
I like
but it's
21.
going to end up making, what, 80 million?
Yeah.
Transformers is going to make $1 billion.
Yeah. Those movies are big.
Yeah. I don't think it deserves it.
Okay.
But you know what? That's just me.
Yeah.
A lot of people worked really hard on that movie. In fact, I watched a Michael Bay movie this week, and I'll talk about it on what we've been watching. So stay tuned for that. But
So,
the movie we saw, Deliver Us from Evil, was 9 million?
Yeah, 9.7. So almost 10 at number 4,
which
isn't bad for like a little horror
isn't
movie.
bad.
I mean,
They
it's not what
expected
we.
it to do better,
Yeah.
but I think
It's a weird time for a horror movie like that. Like
Yeah.
the week after a Transformers movie.
I also think too that I think it's too smart for horror movie fans, where it's not your traditional horror movie. A lot of Scott Derrickson movies are not traditional horror,
Yeah.
so you really have to go in knowing you're actually watching a police procedural that has horror elements in it.
Right.
You know, it's not just scare factor. And two, I think maybe the paranormal genre is starting to get burnt out
Yeah.
because so many Paranormal Activity movies and all that found footage stuff.
Right.
Not that it's a found footage, but I just think people are starting to.
It's at least not a ghost movie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because there's been a lot of those with your. I don't know if The Conjuring is really a ghost movie, but a lot of those that like just in the trailers come off
Mhm.
that way, and this one probably did too. I didn't actually see or.
You know what's
hardly
funny? I
remember
think I
the
saw one trailer for it. I don't remember seeing an actual.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
think
because I don't watch
saw,
TV
like,
that often.
It was only when the Hootie Owl showed up in that movie that I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I did see a trailer for this movie.
Oh, yeah, that's the only one I saw was the little teaser.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, the teaser was
basically
actually
that sequence.
It was that sequence, but it was cut with a sequence later on where Eric Bana came into her room.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, that's the trailer. The only trailer I saw was that.
Yeah, which is not a very good one.
Yeah. Shot well.
Oh, the movie's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth seeing just for how beautiful it is. But
yeah, it's one of those movies I'll buy.
Yeah.
Because I like Scott Derrickson.
But you know what what last weekend used to be? It used to be Big Willie Weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's when, like, you know, this is when Men in Black and Independence Day and Wild Wild West came out.
It's really funny, too, because Will Smith has really slowed down making movies.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're right. There used to be every
Well,
year.
He became like a family guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Every year in July, he would put out a new movie
Yeah.
as the big Will.
And an album to go along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what came out this week?
Well, the other one was Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Really?
Which,
yeah.
Middle of July.
Yeah. Well, you know, week 27 of the year.
Week 27.
Which is interesting. I saw a trailer this week it was like the original teaser for that one.
Mhm.
And it was the Terminator getting assembled. Have you seen
Yeah,
that
yeah,
trailer?
yeah. That one's awesome.
And what I realize is they don't do trailers like that
Nope.
often anymore, where like it's unique footage that's clearly not from the movie,
Just for the
where
trailer.
they're just teasing. Like the only one I can actually think of is the original teaser for Transformers, where they were on Mars, and it was just like the text just came up and was like, you know, they told us that the Mars moon lander was lost on whatever, but this is what it actually saw. And then there was just like a shadow of a transformer on Mars, and you were like, what? But like that's the last one I can think of.
The last one I remember is, do you remember the original teaser for The Dark Knight?
No.
It was just a black screen.
Yes,
and
where you just
Alfred,
hear the voice. Yeah,
it was just saying some people want to just see the world burn.
Yeah,
and that's the whole. His monologue was a whole trailer.
That's true.
Which is maybe
that's pretty close.
There's another one I'll talk about where we talk about what we've been watching.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That is trailer is actually that too. So.
Dude.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's a big week in movie history.
Yeah. What else we got this going on? What are we doing next?
Let's do some DVDs.
Cool.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
I don't think too much this week, huh?
Nah, unless you're a big fan of Rio, because Rio 2 is out this week.
Jonathan Tiersten said it was all you could see was them just wasting money and putting songs in bright colors on screen.
Yeah, that's what I tend to feel about those kids' movies, as you well know.
Yeah.
Under the Skin, which is that Scarlett Johansson I'm an Alien movie.
I'm really interested to see that one. I wanted to see it when it was out. My wife really loves her, so I don't know if it's... I might just rent it on Amazon HD, which it'll probably be... Unless it's $15, and I'll just buy the Blu-ray, because for Blu-ray it'll probably be $15.
Yeah. Season 2 of Orphan Black, which is that BBC show that I didn't think was very good.
But everybody else does.
Every
time I read great things about it, I think back to your initial review of it.
Yeah. It
What,
feels like
James,
the Brit's
I hold
trying to do American
your opinion
sci-fi.
so high that
I've
never watched it.
I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, but all right. Hell on Wheels Season 3.
That's still on TV?
Yeah. And Season 3, I didn't like Season 2, but Season 3 was really cool. So Season 3 is worth checking out. Like, even if you sort of fell off like I did, I started...
I didn't even know it was still on TV. That's how much I didn't know about that.
I think they found a way to make that movie not the most expensive thing ever, which is what kills most Western shows. Because it really only takes place in a few little sets. And then Season 1 of Black Dynamite, the cartoon show.
I never watched that. I love the movie, though.
Oh, yeah.
The movie's great.
The cartoon show like lost some of the meta humor, as I remember. I think I only saw like 5 or 6 episodes because I'm getting old and I can't stay up and watch
I know, Adult
anymore.
Swim. It's, every time I see commercials for it, and everyone says, hey, have you watched that Morty show? What's I
have no idea.
By the guy. I don't know. It's like really popular now.
Oh.
But I can't stay up that late anymore.
I can't.
I get about 11 o'clock. I start fading super fast.
Dude, I'm falling asleep at like 9:30.
I'm not that big of a pussy, but I'm starting to fade fast.
Yeah.
Last night I actually stayed up really late because I wanted to play video games, but
I'd like to again. But honestly, a part of it gets to be like 9:30, and I'm like, man, my bed sounds good. I could just lie in bed and like be comfortable for a while. Yeah, I woke up this morning and like changed my sheets and washed them.
Nice.
And like made it all. Oh, I'm so excited to go to sleep tonight. It's so good. I'm getting so fucking old.
See, with me, I actually stay up later, so I let my wife sleep for a while.
Yeah.
Because she's really uncomfortable right now in her pregnancy.
Yeah.
And so when she falls asleep, she always wakes up at 5, and then she goes out and sleeps on the couch because she's so uncomfortable. She has to put her feet up. I don't know. I'm not a woman, and I'm glad I'm not. So when she goes to bed, she went to bed yesterday like at 10:30. I knew she had to, like 11. She had to work this morning as a nurse. And so I actually stayed up till about 2 playing video games because I wanted her to sleep constantly through the night because I'm a good husband.
Good job.
Contrary to what people believe. And I'm playing the Stars missions and Injustice, the Ultimate Edition. It's starting to piss me off. Because you get to
like super hard?
Some of them you get to, and they're like damn near impossible to beat. There's this one with Harley Quinn where she's constantly losing power, and you only start with half your power, and you're fighting Catwoman. And the way you regain power is Harley Quinn has this... Everybody has like a special individual power. Like Batman, if you hit circle, it comes down with a bunch of radio-controlled bats, and he can throw them at you. Huh. Harley Quinn gets a surprise. If it's a picture of the Joker, she gains a little health back. Blah, 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 blah. In this one, if you hit circle, she regains her health while she's constantly losing it while you're fighting Catwoman.
Yeah.
And the animation for her to kiss the picture of Joker is so long that you have to knock Catwoman back, do this without Catwoman attacking you. And Catwoman has these moves where she can shoot from one side of the screen to the other because she's so fast. Yeah. And it's so frustrating I skipped it, and it's pissing me off. So, yeah. So that's what I did last night.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got a comic?
I do.
Let's do comics.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned it before, but I've been reading a lot of comics lately. I got on Batgirl, and that's been lots of fun because Gail Simone's been writes it.
Did they redesign her?
They
I
did.
saw like a cool design for it. I was like, that's badass.
Yeah, they're changing the creative team too.
Cool.
I was reading an interview with, I forget the guy's name, but he said, "Oh, we're just gonna make her more fun." Because the thing with Gail Simone right now is Batgirl is going through the motions of, I was handicapped, I'm not anymore. Now I'm trying to get my feet back, and all her stories are pretty dark.
Yeah.
There's people being murdered, and so they're going to kind of lighten it up. Not that saying actually her Batgirl's really good, but it'll be interesting to see. And the character design's really cool now.
Yeah, she's in like a leather jacket rather than being in like, she's not in spandex anymore.
Yeah.
And like, it looks cool.
But the one I'm going to talk about is actually Buffy the Vampire Slayer issues 3 and 4. Have you read these ones yet?
I haven't.
They're really, really good. The one thing I love about Christos Gage, and I think he actually captures the voice of Buffy so well in his books. He did Angel and Faith last year.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's the re-return of Dracula,
mm-hmm.
and it's co-written by Nicholas Brendon, who is Xander. And what is really cool is, as I'm reading this, I can actually see. I guess you read by seeing.
Yeah, right.
When I read, I can hear Christos Gage's voice and then Nicholas Brendon's voice as I'm reading it.
Yeah.
Because I can see. I don't know if to a casual comic reader they'll pick it up.
Right.
But in the story, have you read any of the Buffys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So in this year, the vampires, because magic is back, the rules are being rewritten in the big book of vampires. And if you've watched the show, it's the book that Giles slams down in the very first episode. Says vampire. So basically, all the rules are being rewritten. That's why vampires now can live in the sun. And so Dracula comes back, and he's really upset because he's not the most powerful vampire anymore. And if you've seen the show, that Dracula is actually kind of an illusion of being an evil guy.
Right.
And so he comes back, and Xander's in love with Dracula, and it's a really funny book. It actually made me laugh out loud a lot. But what's great is you can tell the Dracula and Xander bits are written by Nicholas Brendon because the Xander character is spot on. Him like serving Dracula is spot on, and then when it goes to the exposition of the story and the action, you can see Christos Gage take over and him explain things. It's 3 and 4 are really, really good, and there's some great Buffy moments with her and Willow talking about how happy they are to be back. And I laughed out loud where, was it Dawn? I think it was Dawn. It was Andrew who said it the first time, that Dracula went all evil Willow. And then Willow said, "Wait, that's a trope?" And then it was called back the next issue.
That's awesome.
About evil Willow. So it was really cool. The book is really funny. But the stakes are really high because the vampires can't be beaten. And Dracula ends up stealing the book with Xander, and he wants to become the all-powerful vampire. And so he's having Xander write what he wants Dracula to be portrayed as, and it backfires. And it's a really cool little story, and I can't wait to pick up the next issue.
Very cool.
And, of course, the art is beautiful.
Yeah.
Rebecca Isaac's Buffy, I'm so in love with. I love George's Buffy, too. But I love Rebecca Isaac. Just the way she draws. Her lines are so clean. And we also, when we interviewed George's this year, he talked about why Rebecca is so good as an artist is because she does all her own inks.
Yeah.
And you can tell she's a really confident artist.
Yeah.
And so, definitely pick up the new Buffys. And issue 3 has one of my favorite covers that's come out in a long time. Xander's on the front, and his ears are being covered by Dawn, and Dracula is all, like, menacing up top. It's like an early 1950s Dracula cover. It's really cool. So pick it up. Go to Card Coins, Cards, and Comics, and hopefully they still have some. I don't know.
Awesome.
Last time I was there, I did not see that cover anymore. And I'm pretty sure I only saw one more issue of issue 3. So you should definitely pick up the Buffy books. So they're really fun. If you're a fan, you have to pick them up.
One of my favorite things that George has talked about when we interviewed him was he said that like he would love to do a one-shot, like a Buffy one-shot at this point, and have him do the art and then Rebecca do the inks. Because he was like, she is a much better inker than I am, and so I think if you layered the two on top of each other, it would look really cool.
What's funny about George's is he's so indifferent about his art, and he doesn't realize that he's so good.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really fun to talk to him about it. So yeah, cool. That's what we should get.
Let's do news.
Cool.
It's real news.
There's not a lot of news this week.
Not really.
So I just picked a couple things that I think are interesting. I want to keep on top of. There's some whisperings that Lock and Key's getting another.
I saw that. I thought
writer.
of you.
So just the fact that anyone is still talking about that makes me happy.
Well, I think it is because the property is so well written and so well developed.
Oh yeah,
that it just screams to be put on screen.
It's one of those things that exactly. Like anybody in Hollywood who gets that script on their desk is taking a look at it and going like, we have to fucking make this thing, and then they realize how hard it is.
Yeah.
But if it's true that like Seth Rogen is getting, friggin' Preacher made, then somebody's gonna find a way to make Lock and Key.
Yeah,
I just hope
you
that
can
they
make
find
you can make a film
good.
series about them. I mean, the books
Oh,
are
yeah.
so beginning and end that, but leaves it open. You can always make another movie, and I think it'd do really well.
I think you could make like a trilogy and make like one that just introduces you to the world and is just that first trade adventure story, and then if it does well, which hopefully it would, then you could tell the rest of the story in 2 more films, and have it be like a really cool badass arc. But I mean, the truth is, the right way to do it was a TV show, but obviously that was or a miniseries.
Or a miniseries. It'd have to be the right network. It'd have to be like AMC, FX, or something where
NBC,
or I guess NBC, but
NBC's got some balls.
But yeah, they have to because they're the least watched network now,
right?
Which is so weird to say because
I'm
rewatching the Friends series, and at that time you couldn't even touch NBC. Like,
no,
with them, Seinfeld, Frasier, all these huge shows, and then they all went away, and NBC has never recovered from it.
Yep. And then the other thing is that so did you see around when E3 happened they had Brian Michael Bendis out at the Microsoft panel? So Brian Michael Bendis, which now in the video game world the name Brian Michael Bendis has like this horrible bad taste in everybody's mouth because he came out at the Microsoft panel and talked for fucking ever about Powers. So Microsoft has basically picked up Powers and is going to make a TV show that is Microsoft exclusive. Or was it Microsoft or was it? Yeah, no, I think it was Microsoft. Or was PlayStation. Now I'm starting to double guess.
I don't remember reading something on PlayStation.
Wonder, but anyway, so they're going to make a Powers TV show, but it's going to be for console only, basically.
It's Microsoft.
I think
it's Microsoft
it is.
Studios.
I think it is, but I didn't think I watched the whole Microsoft panel. But anyway, I guess I did because I remember watching this and being like, "This is embarrassing. Like, why do they have him out there for so long?" Because most of the people in that audience don't give a shit about Powers. It was just not the right audience. But
I know they're booing, "Give us Ultimate Spider-Man."
Yeah, right, great. But I really like Powers. Have you ever read it?
No.
I've only read the first trade, and it was really cool. Basically, it's like a cop drama in a world where there are superheroes, but it starts off with one of the superheroes gets killed, and it's like a mystery. They got to figure out who killed Retro
like Watchmen.
Girl. Yes, but way more lighthearted, way more like NYPD Blue. I thought it was cool. It's got all that Brian Michael Bendis dialogue in it,
which
so
is
it's fun to
better
read.
than Watchmen.
What?
Huh?
And so this week we started hearing that David Slade might be directing that show, which would be really cool.
Yeah, he's a cool director.
And he set the tone for Hannibal pretty well. So it would be cool to have him spin off another show. I think that would be really successful because that's also the thing is that the way that book is drawn, like the characters are all very cartoony, but they use a lot of blacks and try to also make it very noir. And so when they were showing like some of the concept art, I was like, that doesn't look like Powers. Like that looks like a very clean. It looks like The Wire, which is not really what I would want.
Wire.
Yeah,
it keeps on getting. I keep on seeing on one of the greatest shows of all time, and I still think of you.
Yep, dude. I wish I could get it. I've tried so hard to understand that show.
It's probably like me and Breaking Bad. Like I guess Mad Men.
No, because I've tried to watch Breaking Bad, or I've tried to watch The Wire a few times, whereas you've never watched Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Mad Men.
Yeah, it'd be more like Mad Men.
Yeah.
Where you watch Mad Men and go like, this is fucking boring, and I watch The Wire and I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Hey, no accounting for taste, right?
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's news. Unless you got anything else.
I read a few. like just quick little things. Like episode 7 is almost done with production.
Apparently,
they really just need to shoot Harrison Ford. Remember how important
Yeah,
it was that he was there. So my guess is they wrap production. They're going to start working on post production,
yeah,
and then
they
come
go
back
do some
and shoot.
pickups with whatever they.
Yeah.
yeah.
As people are so
It's
stupid.
not a big deal.
I know. It's so
As
interesting
long as
when
Harrison
you.
Ford's okay.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
You know, as long as they're right. And who's going to sit
Yeah.
behind the Millennium Falcon and pilot it? He doesn't
think-
need to run around.
I think part of it was that people want to like spell doom and gloom around.
I know.
that
Do
movie
people
anytime
want to
they
see this
can.
movie get postponed?
That's what they want. Well,
why?
No, I think that the malicious side of it is people want to see bad things happen to this movie just because like they're afraid they want to, when it stinks, be able to be like, hey, it's because of all the things that went wrong. The other thing is that there are people, and I'm sort of one of them, who are on what we suspect to be J.J. Abrams' side, that they probably should have postponed the movie another year to begin with anyway, and that they are maybe rushing their way into this. Which that to me is, if the movie ends up being only half as good as it could have been, that'll be the reason why. Not because
But here's
Harrison
the thing
Ford
is,
broke his leg.
and I'll be completely honest with you. I want people to tell me about a J.J. Abrams movie.
Right. No, I agree.
Even
I agree.
something like Joyride, which isn't the best movie, is still pretty clever.
Yeah.
And lots of fun.
Yeah.
So I
don't disagree, but he's never worked on something this big,
Star Trek?
this quickly. He had a long time on Star Trek, and he pushed Star Trek Into Darkness back. He made Paramount push the date back on that movie. So
yeah.
this is the
But-
first time that
but
when
here's
he's
the thing
asked
is,
for something
actually,
to
I'm
push
not
back,
that worried
they
about
said
it
no.
either, because how much money Disney's investing in it.
I'm not that worried either. I'm just saying, like, that was the other reason
Yeah.
why when Harrison Ford broke his leg, people were like, oh, they already don't have enough time. They're gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay, guys.
Next year in December, when we're talking about how great it is,
Yeah.
we'll look back and be like, see, told
And
you.
that's the thing, is that it might be done with principal photography, but there's going to be a lot of CG in that movie. That
Yeah,
they're gonna
well,
have to do.
yeah. I mean,
Which is fine.
But here's
They
the
got plenty
thing:
of time.
is just like Spider-Man. I remember Spider-Man 3. That last sequence where Sandman was fighting on the construction site.
Yeah.
They were already working on it before the movie was done.
Oh,
like
yeah,
before.
yeah.
So I'm sure they already have stuff plopped out, and I mean they're probably working on everything, and now they just really have to insert
You're
the
right.
actors.
They got Disney money. Like whatever they need to do, they will go buy whatever they need to buy
Yeah.
to get it done. That's not.
So it'll be fun.
As long as the script is good, that's the most important thing.
Yep, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What have we been watching?
sure.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
This week I tried so hard to watch all the Star Trek Next Generations.
How far'd you get?
I couldn't watch any because my wife had off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Oh, cool.
Because she works 4 days on and like 4 days off. Because
Yeah.
she's a nurse and they work so many hours. So she will not sit through those movies.
Right.
Even if I said, "Oh no, they're pretty good." The first one, Voyager becomes self-aware. James laughs because he knows my wife, and
Yeah.
there's no way she would sit through that.
Well, and it just when you put it that way, I'm like, in the first one, the Voyager 1 becomes self-aware.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, the Voyager 1 just crossed outside of our solar system. It's the first thing man made to travel in intergalactic space.
That's right. So I watched a few things. The Michael Bay movie I actually watched the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah.
Because I got it on Blu-ray. And like I said last week, they're really hard to find on Blu-ray for some reason. I think it's because Warner Brothers does their like archives. It's made by New Line, owned by Warner Brothers. So
And this is the one that's just called Texas Chainsaw
Yeah.
Massacre. This is the Jessica Biel
the
one.
Jessica Biel one.
Okay, yeah.
And surprisingly, it still holds up really well. I think it's shot really well. And it's the first movie by Michael Bay's Platinum Dunes.
Right.
And it was really cool. There's a great documentary on it because the documentary actually goes through the whole process of him founding this company, looking for properties that they can update, and making them for a minuscule budget, which is kind of funny that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now is coming out from Platinum Dunes, and it's probably a $150 million movie.
Right.
But to have them start out, and Michael Bay was talking about it, says, I'm making movies for under $15 million. I want to take young, exciting filmmakers, and I'm going to put them in these movies. I'm going to take a young and exciting cast, and we're going to make gritty horror movies. And you have to evolve as a company. I'm not holding it against them. It's just kind of funny watching it now. But, you mentioned the trailer. The original teaser trailer for that was he didn't have a script, and so he took a camera and he filmed just sound of this girl running up the stairs and screaming, and then a chainsaw. There's nothing on the screen. It's a really effective trailer, and New Line gave him money based on that trailer.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's interesting listening to Michael Bay because, you always hear these stories about how he's a jerk and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But when I watch him on sets and I watch interviews with him, he seems like a really cool guy, and he really just wants to make cool movies. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's what he wants.
Yeah, I think that he is probably a pretty big ego to be around. And that probably rubs some people the wrong way because you listen to him talk and you just can kind of tell, like, but he's
confident.
kind of he's kind of earned his way there.
Yeah, and
like whether you like what he's done or not, like he's done a lot of work and made a lot of money.
And not just for him, for lots of people.
Right.
And
So
really
I
cool.
think that when you carry yourself that way, you're inevitably going to get people talking like, "He's such a dick." Great.
It was funny in this documentary, though, he was talking about how he was going to be selfish and direct it himself. And he says, but it's for young filmmakers, and I probably shouldn't be doing it. And it'd be interesting to see a Michael Bay horror movie.
Hell yeah.
Maybe he'll make it one day. Who knows?
Yeah.
But so the movie is pretty good. It's on Blu-ray. It looks amazing. Because when you shoot a movie that dark and that gruesome, a lot of times if it's not shot well, then it shows up big time on Blu-rays with fuzz and things like that. But this movie, the blacks are really black, and the lighting is amazing. And it doesn't... and sometimes, too, on horror movies, when they get up converted to Blu-ray, you can see the cheapness in the lighting and things like that. But this movie doesn't suffer from that. And I think it's pretty scary.
Did Platinum hang on to that franchise? Like the other two weren't made by them. Were they?
The beginning was...
But not
the
3D.
next one was not.
Not the yeah.
Maybe it was. I don't remember. I just remember seeing Adam Marcus's name in the credits, and I lost all interest in it. That's not very fair, though.
No.
But I mean, the movie's horrible. But
yeah,
when I saw his name, I knew there's no redeeming qualities for this movie. So yeah, the movie was fun. I also watched Robin Hood Men in Tights,
Oh snap!
which I haven't seen in forever, but I still think is so fucking funny. I love Cary Elwes.
Yeah.
There was a time in the early 90s where I'd always watch his movies, whether it was Hot Shots, Princess Bride, and then Robin Hood. And he just plays it such a smug Robin. And it's and the part that actually cracked me up so bad was he in the movie, and Robin Hood actually follows the adventures of Robin Hood, the Earl Flynn one, really closely.
Yeah.
But in this one, he goes away to fight the Crusades, and he gets captured in Jerusalem and swims back to England. But anyways, he gets to his castle, and his blind servant, Blinken, is there. And he says, I forget what his first line is, but Blinken says, "Oh, yeah, your dad's dead. And my mom," and he talks about how his mom died from the plague. And on he says, "And my cat, my goldfish, the cat ate it. And my cat choked on the goldfish." Just totally dumb lines, but I love those movies. It's just a really funny movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in years, but when I was younger, I used to watch it all the time, and I still remember the lines. I still remember the beats of the movie, but I still have lots of fun watching it. So if you haven't seen it, definitely pick it up. And if you hit the Cary Elwes trilogy, I call it that, is Princess Bride, Hot Shots, and Robin Hood.
No Saw? You wouldn't put Saw in there?
The first Saw I would.
Yeah.
But it was just lots of fun.
That'd be a hell of a trilogy.
Yeah. It would be a quadrilogy. It was just lots of fun watching it.
Cool.
I also, the last thing I watched Escape Plan again with Sylvester Stallone and Schwarzenegger. I still think it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Like a callback to old 80s action, and Jim Caviezel's really good in it.
Yeah.
As a warden.
Yeah.
I just watching it at the end when they're escaping, and Arnold rips that routing the gun. I forget, and he just rips it up.
Awesome one-liner, yeah.
And he mows people down with it because he rips it like out of the voltage of the helicopter.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
And then when they're getting away, Sylvester Stallone is shot in the arm, and Jim Caviezel is going to shoot him with another gun, and Stallone says, "Throw me a gun!" And in slow motion, Arnold throws him this handgun, and he's hanging from a ladder on a helicopter, and he grabs it, and he goes, boom, and he shoots the gun, and it blows up.
God.
It's just like great
So
80s
ridiculous.
action. So that was fun. And the last thing I watched was Lake Placid. I got the Scream Factory Blu-ray, which I haven't had time to watch the special features. But the movie's still pretty fun. It's like a creature feature movie. And I forgot the dude gets his head bit off.
Which dude?
Remember they're diving in to find it, and they have the sonar to of The Sound of Baby Crocs.
Oh, yeah.
And he's pulling
Oh,
it up, and
yeah.
it gets his head bitten clean off. So there's fun parts like that. And the movie is actually pretty funny in some parts.
Yeah.
Not a great movie, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a huge crocodile that gets trapped in a helicopter.
Yes.
And surprisingly, the special effects hold up pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
Pretty good.
Huh.
It looks great on Blu-ray.
Cool.
I remember watching it on DVD and it being really kind of muted, the colors.
Yeah, I kind of remember the CG like at the end with that whole section
Mhm.
in the helicopter not looking as good on TV, but that would have been on TV.
Yeah, but it looks pretty good. I mean, you can tell the difference between the Stan Winston, obviously,
Right.
monster, and the CG one, and it's just because the colors don't match.
Right.
Where they haven't figured that quite out yet, because I think the movie's 98 or 99.
Yeah.
So they haven't quite figured it out yet, but it still looks pretty good. And Betty White is always remembered because she's the cussing lady in it. It's all right if I call you a cocksucker, right? It's pretty funny. So yeah, that's what I watched this week. Just a bunch of. Hopefully this week my wife works more during the week and I can watch Star Trek.
Yeah. Seriously, get her out of the house. Come
Yeah,
on.
right.
Cool. I've just got a couple things to run through. So I rewatched the Lego Movie this week.
Nice.
Well, actually, I haven't even completely finished it yet because I keep watching it as I fall asleep and seeing 20 minutes and then falling asleep.
Hey, buddy.
But man, that movie is amazing.
I know I need to get that one. I haven't gotten it yet.
And so wicked smart. As somebody who grew up as such a Lego fan, there are little things in there. Here's one that blew me away the other night. Was I was watching it and there's a line when they get all the master builders together in that room, right?
Mhm.
And he's listing them off, and he gets to 2002 NBA All-Stars because there was a year where they decided oh man, why don't we try to make basketball in Lego? So they went. It was the first time they'd ever made black heads, for
Really?
black people. Yeah, and so they made a whole bunch of NBA stars, and then you had this basketball court and these little stands that you could put the Lego guy on it, and you'd sort of hold their arms out straight in front of them, and they could hold the basketball, and then you sort of pull back on the little stand that they were on. It would sort of make the ball catapult across the thing, so you were supposed to be able to sort of play basketball with them. But I just bought them so that I could have black heads, so that I could have diversity in my huge room full of Legos.
My Spider-Man Dr. Octopus bank robbing car.
Oh yeah,
It has a catapult on it that Spider-Man shoots out of, and it's pretty cool.
yeah.
And money and jewels and.
But yeah, so that was one where when they called back to that, I was like, "Holy shit!" They even know that those are buried there somewhere. Anyway, I also last week I forgot to talk about the fact that Legend of Korra came back for season 3, which so far I've seen the first 4 episodes, and it's been really cool. This season there are a whole bunch more airbenders all of a sudden because of some things that happened last season, and she's traveling around trying to find them. And
Is it like a Buffy thing where
kind of
Buffy puts her essence in everybody?
Well, yeah, well, sort of. She broke down the bridge between the physical world and the spirit world, and so now
Basically the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And so now there's all these airbenders, and in the first few episodes, they're dealing with they're dealing with the sort of economical disparity inside of this whole kingdom, and then they also come across the fact that basically all of the airbenders that have popped up inside the Earth Kingdom, the Queen has been capturing and enslaving into being in her army. And just the undertones of what they're talking about and having that kind of, and they're talking about
Is this a
whether or
prime
not
time show or is it on during the day?
No, it's a primetime Nickelodeon show.
Yeah, that's what I was curious because it seems really deep to be a morning
exactly.
cartoon.
It's a show. They're having these conversations about whether or not inscription is should be legal, or whether or not they're having in the 4th episode they had they're having this conversation about whether or not monarchies even make sense in a modern world. And you're like, holy shit! This is for kids. I mean, it's real short. They'll get from that back into the action and keep the show moving pretty quickly. But the actual issues that they're dealing with are real, interesting topics. So that's cool. I also got a chance to watch the first episode of Extant. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it.
The
Halle Berry show
one, right?
Yeah, so it's Halle Berry. It's produced by Steven Spielberg. And it's pretty cool. Honestly, it's
I heard it's really good.
yeah, it feels a little bit TV, as all of Steven Spielberg's stuff on TV has. I don't think he's yet made a show where I was like, okay, this feels like an Alias or a Lost or
Do you think that's because Steven Spielberg loves the nostalgia things and he wants to keep the two separate?
Honestly, I think it's a budget thing. I think that Lost had $1 million pilot episode. Alias, I don't remember what the budget on that one was, but they did a really good job of trying to hide the fact that it was TV. 24 is the same way.
Yeah.
Like 24 was an expensive ass show. And I think a lot of people are just so, you look at all the cable shows and the your Walking Deads, all your HBO shows, like they get enough money that they don't look too TV. Like the pilot for The Walking Dead looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that any of his sci-fi shows have ever quite looked at that good. So I think it's a budget thing because he makes a lot of them. He throws a lot of stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's been that successful over the past 5 or 6 years. But this one's pretty cool. So basically, it feels to me like the AI I would have wanted from Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Well, because the little boy is the little boy from Looper.
Yeah, and he's really good. So, like, at the very least, you should watch the pilot of this show because the kid who played Sam in Looper is in this is in the show. Halle Berry is she's like an astronaut. So it's set in the future. She's an astronaut who just got back from working on a space station for a while. I don't remember how long she was gone. It was like 6 months or a year. Like she was gone for a while. And she gets back, and so she's trying to adjust back to like being at home because she was alone on the space station. And something weird happened on the space station. And then she also, so back home, she's got a husband, and her husband is a robot building guy, and he has built an android that basically the idea is you build the android as a child, and then the android over time sort of grows and learns the way that humans do. And so he's basically trying to mimic the way that humans actually learn how to behave and what to do. And so there's this interesting scene where he's trying to get money to fund what he's doing, and this board is like, well, what sort of safety methods do you have in case like something goes wrong? Like, basically asking him like, what would you like? How would you kill these robots if we made a bunch of them? And he was like, I wouldn't. Like, we just wouldn't. You wouldn't kill your children. I wouldn't kill these robots. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. So that's what Sam, or the kid who played Sam in Looper, that's what he is. And the way they reveal it's pretty cool. Like, you don't know that for 20 minutes of the pilot or so, and then all of a sudden, like, they pop open his back and, like, switch out his batteries, and you're like, holy shit, like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And there's just some neat little ideas that they're toying with that they don't dig into a lot. Like, there's a really great scene where they're going to that meeting, and the little boy stops and tells and is having this conversation with his dad, and basically tells his dad, like, but I'm not real. And his dad's like, no, you are. And he's like, you can sort of see it in him where he's like, no, man, I'm super not real. Like, why don't you get it? So I think it's going to be pretty interesting, and I'm definitely going to try to catch the next few episodes.
So is it a miniseries, or is it going to be like multiple seasons?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's a sci-fi show, so it probably will only get one season anyway. But hopefully it'll be a full series. I'm not really sure. Honestly, I had sort of forgotten about it until this week, and saw it pop up and was like, oh, I gotta watch this pilot. So I haven't done a lot of research into it, but hopefully it's gonna stay good. I think Halle Berry is actually pretty good in it. Not great, but pretty good.
She won an Oscar.
Yeah, she did. Great. What was that for? Was that for Monsters Ball?
Yeah.
You make me feel good.
Oh, God.
That's all I can ever remember from that. I think Heath Ledger was better in Monsters Ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a more interesting character for sure. Her son dies of eating Snickers.
Yep.
Stupid.
Gets run over.
Yeah. Anyway.
Why are we laughing about that? That's horrible.
Oh, I'm not even done yet. So the very last thing is I got a chance. I'd never seen Network before. So I bought the Blu-ray and watched it.
I haven't seen it either.
Dude, I should lend it to you.
Yeah.
This movie...
Let me watch the other stuff you lent to me
is
first.
awesome. Sure. Yeah. This is one of the most interesting and exciting ones that I think I've watched so far in that whole grouping. Not my favorite. Like, not one that I'm necessarily going to watch a billion times, like I would Rebecca. Rebecca, I would watch, in an afternoon. But Network, honestly, as I was watching the movie, what I started realizing was that movie is both a masterpiece to be
very well known.
Yeah, like that movie is amazing, and also
What's it about again?
probably well before its time. So what it is it starts. It's this news newscaster guy who gets fired at the beginning, or gets told he has 2 more weeks on the job, and basically on the air tells the American people, like, 2 weeks from now I'm just going to kill myself on the air. So have a good night. And like, it just makes a lot of news, and it's what the movie really is a satire about news networks and just television programming in general. And so they but they see his ratings spike because he said this, and at first they're like, we don't want to do this, like, this is horrible, like, you shouldn't have said that, we can't let you back on the air. But then some things happen where, like, this corporation is buying the news network, and so the guys who are running the news network are like, well, fuck those guys, like, why don't we just let this guy go back on the air? And the next night he says crazier shit. And they keep, for reasons that end up being like funnier and funnier and more outlandish as they go forward, they keep putting him back on the air until basically they give him his own show where he's like there with a soothsayer and like some other crazy
so
shit.
It's a comedy.
He's like, it's like a satire, so it's a very dark comedy. And he, like, it comes out in front of a big paint stained glass window like he's in church, and is basically lecturing the American people about how horrible what they're doing. And like, he comes out there and is like telling them that television is bad for them and it's raised them all the wrong way, and that they don't understand the real world and they need to turn off their TVs. And you're like, holy shit, like, it. And then at the same time, like, they keep doing that. And there's this woman who's like in charge of programming that is sort of the reason why this keeps happening. And at the same time, there's this really great subplot where, what was that woman's name who got kidnapped in the 70s and then like robbed a bank with her kidnappers? Oh man, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So,
name escapes me though.
Yeah, they basically take her story and mimic it in the movie, and so there's this like group of communist guerrilla fighters who are running around and like robbing banks and pulling off all this terrorist activity, and she's actually like striking deals with them and signing these long paperwork things to create a reality show where they just get the shocking footage from their bank robberies and terrorist activities so that they can make like a dramatized show out of it. And it gets darker and funnier. There's this really great scene where like they're sitting in this basement, and there's these like network lawyers, and they're talking over like the paperwork for their deal to create this show, and they're arguing about like some minuscule little thing, and this one woman's yelling about it, and all of a sudden the like big terrorist dude in his funny looking hat like takes out a gun and fires it into the air, and everybody gets quiet, and he's like, he sort of tells everybody to shut up and then says, like, we got to resolve this stupid thing, and then, like, references whatever legal paperwork they're talking about. And you're just like, what the fuck? like, it's the wackiest scene dropped into this movie. But they're making fun of the fact that, like, television was going that way. And it is even more that way as far as I'm concerned now. And if, there were times where he was talking and like inspiring people in the movie, like, you should go to your windows. It's the famous scene where he says like, you need to go to your windows and throw them open and throw your head out and say, I'm mad as hell and I don't want to take it anymore. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm mad. Like, you're right. It's still stupid. Like, nightly news is still bullshit. And the other really cool thing about this is that, and the reason why I really think it's something of a masterpiece is that there is this theme through the whole movie about this idea that the younger generation in the movie at the time has been raised on television and really doesn't relate to the world around them and doesn't really feel like anything is real. And it's juxtaposed in this relationship between this older guy and the younger woman who's the programmer. And he is written and portrayed like a character out of All the President's Men. Like, he really is trying to be a very genuine, real character, and she is, like, as the movie goes forward, becomes more and more crazy and more slapsticky and bizarre. And just, like, you slap those two together, and that it helps you realize what they're trying to draw into view. It's really cool. I was really interested in this. And I threw it in not really knowing what I was expecting.
Sure.
Like,
like everybody knows that scene you're talking about,
right? But I thought that was the climax, and it's not. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be more like Good Night and Good Luck, only at the end, like the newscaster just gets angry and is like, "You guys need to change stuff." Like, I really thought I was in for more of a All the President's Men real movie, And then as I started realizing, like, no, this is a straight up satire. It was smart.
Cool.
It's a really cool movie. So I got the Blu-ray. I haven't checked out any of the special features or anything yet, but I don't think it's much. Oh, that's the thing I forgot on the Lego Movie. Shame on whoever made that Blu-ray, because that movie is so good. It deserves a Blu-ray menu that doesn't make me feel like I bought it at the Walgreens.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it's that one where it's like the silver bar at the bottom with the 4 buttons.
Yeah, that's Warner Brothers' like go-to.
Yeah, but it's like
menu
a
thing.
basic menu.
I know.
It's just
Universal
horrible.
does it too. Like Universal's is that like bow,
Yes.
that silver
oh,
bow.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And they
man.
put them on all of them.
It's so bad.
Oh, it's funny. You actually saying that reminded me. I watched another movie this week.
Oh, yeah?
I'll be really quick.
Oh, yeah, go on.
It's Bulletproof with Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on Blu-ray. I just happened to be at Tradesmart, and it was $4.99. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I haven't seen it in years, and it's still actually pretty funny. Except Damon Wayans is not a good actor,
No.
so it's weird because Adam Sandler's pretty good in it. He plays a con man who's betrayed by Damon Wayans, who's a cop, and you can see that he's hurt in it, and he's his acting, and he's talking about how he's betrayed, and Damon Wayans talks like this, and Captain, and it's just so he's not a good actor.
No.
He might be funny on little bits and in Living Color, but trying to carry a movie,
Oh, yeah. No.
I can see why that movie never made it. And James Caan's in it; he's pretty good in it.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
He is. I had fun watching it. Though, it reminded me of being in high school
That's funny.
because it came out when I was in high school. Disneyland. So, yeah,
Cool. That's
Yeah.
what I saw.
cool. So this week we saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. James, should people go see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
So I wasn't a big fan of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Oh, that's what I forgot to talk about. Was I rewatched that this week?
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it better this time than I think I remember liking it the first time, but still not way into it.
Mhm.
This movie honestly makes me like Rise of the Planet of the Apes more because it means we got to get here. Because
Mhm.
this is a really interesting film with some really cool ideas in it. I don't think the CG necessarily always holds up, but the emotion through the characters and through the CG is well worth seeing and really amazing and impressive. So yeah, I think people ought to check it out. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's another one of my favorite movies of the summer. Very smart.
Yeah.
Very clever. I think visually it looks amazing.
It's the best Planet of the Apes movie ever.
Yeah, I agree. Here's a trailer for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
We've been through hell together. We spent 4 years. 4 years! Fighting that virus and then another 4 fighting each other. It was chaos. But you all know what we're up against.
I need to speak to Caesar!
And I want you to know, it's not just about power, it's about giving us the hope to rebuild and reclaim the world we lost.
So right away, I mean, we're put in this world where it starts up with paranoia. It's
Oh, that opening sequence is cool.
It is. It starts really quietly, but then you realize a simian flu, which is just kind of a passing in the first one. But you realize what's cool is it kind of gives an explanation behind the Planet of the Apes, and
That is more interesting, or at least more modern than because the
Yeah.
original Planet of the Apes. The idea is like, oh, well, we nuked each other, and then apes took over the planet.
Yeah.
and that's as simple as it was. Where here, there's this whole
a little bit. And so it takes place 10 years later.
Mhm.
Caesar and all the apes, if you remember at the end of the Rise, they kind of go in the San Francisco wilderness and they set up. And here they've built a town. They're teaching their children.
Yeah.
They have simple rules. And what's really fascinating is the first 20 minutes of the movie after the opening, I don't think there's a human and no dialogue. It's just monkeys and apes signing to each other, which is really fascinating. And be able to hold your interest, and they go off on a hunt at the beginning,
and it sets up those it sets up those CG characters as genuine characters with like dynamic things to them, right? So Caesar's not just a monkey who's mad or a wise leader or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's also got this relationship with his son that is stressed, and this thing going on with his wife, and like this interesting relationship with his friend. Like there's a lot more to it than what we would traditionally expect out of CG or even animal characters.
Yeah, and it's a movie too that keeps on flip-flopping of who you should root for.
Yeah,
which is really great to me, because the one thing in it, they do have the typical archetype of the human who thinks all monkeys are bad, or I guess I should say apes. All apes are bad.
Who at one point basically, like, literally says, "I'm the asshole," and you go, "We get it.
Yeah,
you're the asshole."
But what makes his character more interesting later in the movie is it sets up the turn, spoilers, of Koba in the movie, because Koba's able to portray that through that character's own shortcomings and tropes of previous characters we've all seen in every single movie.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves, who's the director of Let Me In, which is a super highly underrated horror movie.
It's awesome.
And Cloverfield is right at home in a super big budget action movie.
Yeah.
But what helps the movie is having him, because even in something like Cloverfield or Let Me In, he has character moments.
Yeah.
And there's character moments with a CG created character, Caesar, which I think Caesar looks amazing. I think Maurice looks amazing. Sometimes the background apes are what kind of bothered me.
Exactly.
But the main characters were stunning.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Maurice never doesn't look real.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking, though. There's a part where Koba overthrows Caesar, and they're in San Francisco after this war, and Maurice is sitting in that bus, and I'm just, like, looking at his hair, and I'm trying to find where it doesn't look real, and I can't find it.
Yep.
And when it's funny, you were talking about as we were leaving.
And I think it's the red hair versus the black hair. I think black hair is really hard to get shadows right.
Yeah, I think you're right. But as we were leaving, you were talking about Jar Jar Binks and a performance captured person, and to think that was 1999, made in 98, released in 99,
but 15 years ago.
15 years ago, and where we are now, where you have someone like Andy Serkis gets top billing in a movie, and he is a computer-generated actor. I mean, he's acting in him, and he's just motion captured, but he's so good in it. I mean, the movie is stunning.
Yeah.
His relationship, the humans realize that there's a dam, and that's why they're going up there. So there's a conflict between the two. One guy's scared, and here's a scene from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
You know the scary thing about them? They don't need power. Lights, heat, nothing.
Hey, pal.
That's the advantage. That's what makes them stronger.
Malcolm, I'm thinking one of us should stand guard tonight.
Wait, what? They took our guns.
If they wanted us dead, we'd be dead already.
Maybe they're just taking their time. They already killed off half the planet already.
Come on.
What?
You can't honestly blame the apes.
Who the hell else am I gonna blame? It was a simian flu.
It was a virus created by scientists in a lab. The chimps they were testing on didn't really have a say in the matter.
Spare me the hippy-dippy pool. You telling me you don't get sick to your stomach at the sight of them? Huh?
I think what's really cool about this is that, like, what we realize when you really think about it is that Caesar really is the main character in this movie.
He is. And which is what I loved about this movie, too, is Caesar as a character plays dumb in front of the apes. But when he's put with the humans and stuff, you realize he's smarter than maybe humans, and thinks independently. Just like there's a great moment when what leads to revolt is Koba shoots Caesar, assassinating him. And it makes it, he plants it so it looks like it's a human.
Right.
Caesar is rescued by the doctor played by Kerry Russell and Jason Clarke's character, and they take him back, and his son comes, Caesar's son, Blue Eyes, comes and talks to him, and he starts signing, and then Blue Eye starts talking, and you can see that Caesar's shocked because he hasn't talked through the whole movie. He didn't know he could speak that well, and it's a really fascinating character moment between two CGI characters that is moving. I mean, there's parts in this movie where I got glass-eyed. I'm like, oh, wow, this is pretty touching. You know, when he holds his little baby for the first time, and you realize that, and even Caesar says in the movie that he realized that human and apes aren't different at all.
Yeah. And that's what's really cool about this is that the struggle in the movie is inside of Caesar, this idea about whether or not he can really trust the humans and this weakness that he has because he believes that inherently the apes are safer, that the apes are not necessarily smarter but better, that they wouldn't do a lot of the things he saw the humans do, and he has to sort of reconcile the idea that that's not entirely true. And what's interesting, and that you got to that idea that he is actually smarter than a lot of the apes, is the question of whether or not he thinks that because they're not as smart. Like, does he think that the fact that they're not as smart means that they are a bit more innocent? And then, of course,
I think you're right. I think it is.
Yeah,
because he can say apes don't kill apes,
right?
But he there's a loss of innocence in him. I don't know if that's the right word.
No, totally.
When he realizes when Koba's pointing that gun at him, he's like, "Oh, it doesn't really matter." And I did the noble thing where I'm not going to kill him. He challenged me, and I forgave him. And how does he repay me? He goes in pretty terrifying scene when he murders those two guys. I mean, Koba murders them, and what I think why that scene is so effective too is the animation and the attributes of that chimpanzee is ones we're all familiar with. That you know what I mean? And to see him grab a gun and just annihilate these people in cold blood murder to set up a war is fascinating because even you as a moviegoer are lulled into thinking that they're just animals. You know, they're using spears and they're just throwing rocks or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But when you see him use a gun and you realize that, these are smart animals and that by underestimating them is a big mistake, and it's really fascinating. It asks you as a moviegoer a lot of questions and challenges you as a person, because even the end scene where Jason Clarke's character meets Caesar, he says, "We have to work this out." And Caesar says, "No, the humans will never forgive the apes for this." To me, that is such an amazing conflict going into the next movie, which will be directed by Matt Reeves as well, because it's because humans by nature don't forgive. And it's
I think what's really cool and smart about this movie is that it's playing with that idea, and it's, you know, the apes, I don't even know if it's intentional, but it feels this way. When the apes start getting violent is when, so he feels like they're safe and that they're better than the humans. And then what he's forgetting is that they start to revert back to being animals, right? So what the movie's doing is drawing out this idea that, like, we are very similar to them in that way, where we're basically just smart animals, where a lot of times we feel like we're safe and then we revert back to being animals.
And as in
that idea is so cool, and to have it buried so subtly in a movie like this is so much smarter than any of the movies where you're going to get, like, you know, like, this movie makes points about, like, violence or, you know, gun ownership or anything like that way better than something that did it on the nose, like you know, Bowling for Columbine or anything like that, where people talk about it up front. Like, this movie really brings out those ideas and makes you think about them in a way that's way more interesting and compelling than somebody who's straight out saying, like Iron Giant, you know? Like, I love the Iron Giant, but when he says, like, "Oh, I'm really a gun," you're like, fuck, like, it's a little on the nose, guys. Like, this really is a smart way of telling that story.
And, you know, you're so right. My favorite scene in the movie, besides all the human emotions and ape emotions, is the humans have this tank, and they come down the street, and they're just wasting the animals.
Shot.
And the camera is on the turret, so it's constantly spinning around. And Koba jumps on there, and he murders all the guys in there. and the turret never stops spinning. And then what happens when that weapon gets into somebody else's hand?
Mm-hmm.
And you think you're safe, and it's just making a point that you're using these weapons of destruction, and you're just giving it to them. And Gary Oldman's character starts a war. I mean, the apes are the ones who basically started it, but who perpetuated it.
Everybody ends up being very guilty.
Exactly, because even Gary Oldman's last little bit is, I'm saving the human race by murdering a bunch of innocent people.
Right. Or apes.
Apes,
Right.
And so it's a really, really fascinating study, and it's a really great movie. You really should see it. I can't say enough about why you should see this movie.
The score's really good. It's funny, the score...
that's great.
Giacchino's tracks are all like ape puns.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all named things like The Great Apescape and things like that, and so when I saw that listing on there, I was like, oh, no, he's not phoning it in on this one, is he? No. It's a good one.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Very well done.
And yeah, that shot with the tank.
Yeah.
There's another one too.
There's a long one.
There's a long shot. He pulls like a Children of Men shot when Malcolm is sneaking back into the house to get the medicine, and then he runs into the sun.
Oh yeah.
And it's a cool shot with like the smoky silhouettes of the apes running in up the stairs in the background. It's really cool.
And I love too the nuance of Blue Eyes putting up the gun to him, and then he puts it down, and Jason Clarke starts crying. It's
great.
And see, only someone like Matt Reeves, who understands human emotions, really go watch Let Me In. It's better than the foreign one.
I agree.
And he just lets it play. I mean, even when they turn on the power and they're listening to music, he holds on a shot of Caesar riding a horse, where Caesar realizes, it's okay to have power. It's okay to have this stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay to coexist. And I think only someone like him has the balls in a big budget movie, in an action movie,
to put those two
to keep those
next to each other.
emotions in check, and it adds weight to the movie. So filmmakers take note.
And also just, oh man, like that. How cool is that scene when we're sitting in the car like that right after the power, and we move to sit in the car with the asshole, and what's his name, Kato, Koba is going to show up outside that window.
Yeah.
And when
it's
it
scary.
does, it's
like
fucking terrifying.
It's like a horror movie shot.
Yeah, it's really good.
And what's cool, too, is he didn't use a jump scare.
No.
He let him be there.
Yeah.
And that one guy did not recognize it right away. And because Koba's a gruesome-looking character anyways, by what man did to him, not that it's his fault.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting play.
Because even that character on its own is a really dynamic and cool villain. I love that scene when Caesar tells him, like, no, we're going to let the humans come in here and do their human work. And he's like, I'll show you human work.
Yeah, he says human work.
Yeah, and he's like pointing to all the scars on his body.
It's like a Lethal Weapon or
shit.
Jaws scene, but totally deep.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah. So go out and see it. Next week we're seeing, I don't know.
What are we seeing next week?
I don't know. I know Sex Tape and something else comes out.
No, we're not seeing Sex Tape.
Why?
We'll watch Snowpiercer before we watch Sex Tape.
Definitely.
We haven't done this in a while.
I know. I know there's another movie I think I want to see. I just can't remember what it is.
Is it Tammy? Do you want to watch Tammy next week?
Yes, that's it.
It's not fucking Planes, Fire, and Rescue, I'll tell you that.
You know what's weird is they always talk about, maybe it...
Is it The Purge? You don't
want
to see
The
The
Purge,
Purge, do you? Well, we're going to go see Snowpiercer next week.
Yeah, that's really all that's coming out, huh?
Oh, Wish I Was Here, but I think that's limited. And I'd rather see Snowpiercer. Yeah. I think we're going to probably go to the Alamo and see Snowpiercer next week.
Yeah, hopefully.
So,
hopefully it'll still be out. Oh, Lucy's out, isn't it?
No, that's the week after.
That's the week
Hercules
after.
and Lucy.
Oh, we're seeing Hercules.
We're going to see Hercules, aren't we?
Totally.
Yeah.
That's an executive decision made.
No, I actually agree with that one because, like, I like Luc Besson, but
I want to see an action
movie. I think I really fucking hate the trailers for Lucy. Because I hate any trailer that uses the humans only use 10% of their brain.
But Morgan Freeman says it.
Yeah, but every human being on the planet knows that's not true anymore. Like, you guys made that up for movies. It was never true. Come on now. Anyway.
Cool. So yeah, until next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find them on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.